Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Another week with the bro involved, the third presenter, I suppose you'd say.
We'd been after a third member for a long time, and we never knew that it was a dog that we needed. So it's good to have Ace wandering around here. I'm sure you'll see him cutting across at stages. Quite a nice weekend, I must say, on the weekend there, not having to endure a Tigers game. They only really net 2 points. Unfortunately, we couldn't follow it up with an Arsenal win, but it's a big one this weekend. Big game this weekend.
Yeah, big game this weekend. And I'm sure you're not talking about the Spoon Bowl. You're talking about the big Pat O'Connor semi-final, team of 8-12, 8-19, one of the two.
I believe it's actually an 8-19. I think we must be the highest seed possibly going into this one. But you are right, was talking about the Pat O'Connor Cup there. Huge conditions there on the weekend, just been. I guess when you look at it from when we were due to tee off, it works out to be about a 7.5 hour round with a 3 hour delay.
Shows you our mental resilience, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The ability to zone out for a couple hours. And
shout out to both the opponents there in that one.
Great blokes.
Yeah, John Ho. It took him 11 holes till he woke up again. He went back home and got an hour's worth of sleep. And young Beck had to shoot off with 3 holes to go. He was off to working on a Saturday evening, I guess, at that. So a shout out to the both of them. But you're right, semi-final there this weekend, and hopefully I'll be coming into that one with a little bit of confidence, following on from a Tigers win in that Spoon Bowl. But although there wasn't any Tigers there to watch last weekend, there was still 8 games of pretty crazy footy. We actually were able to witness there over the weekend. And, we start off our team of the week this week with Ponga taking that one jersey.
Yeah, look, come Sunday afternoon, it was time for the Dragons fans to start getting up the ifs, buts and maybes. And yeah, Newcastle doing the damage there on Sunday afternoon over Gold Coast was definitely not one that swung in my favour. But yeah, shout out KP, it was fantastic there on Sunday afternoon. Couple of meaties at least. But yeah, taking that Newcastle team on a good charge towards the finals. Not quite the same as last year,
but who knows if they can.
If he can hit his straps in the finals this time, who knows what they might.
He might have been listening to us last year talking about that, peaking at the right time there. Who knows? Joining him there, your 2 wingers this week, Sevo and Munro. Give me a few minutes there. How many did Sevo end up getting there? Munro got himself a double. Did Sevo get 2 or 3?
Sevo got 3 in the end, I believe.
So there you go. Already there's quite a few meetings there just looking at that back 3 there.
Shout out to Tara and Munro as well. Obviously playing on the sad week for him personally. Not only one huge unfortunate passing in his family, but 2 in the days before the game to get out there and have a performance like that. So takes a pretty special bloke. So yeah, I suppose that nailed him in there for this team of the week. Shout out to Taro.
Yeah, shout out to him. Joining them there in that back line, we've gone for Valentine Holmes and Ruben Garrick. 2 pretty superstar performers there.
100%, yeah. Val Holmes going out on a nice little lead. Couple of points at the top of the point scorers charts there. High scoring affair for the Cows over the Storm there. And Ruben Garrick solid as always for Manly.
Yep, and another player who's also managed to get himself a fair whack of points there this year. Dylan Brown is your 6, obviously fairly instrumental there in that, first 70 minutes of that game?
Yep, 69 minutes until the Dragons finally woke up, but Dylan Brown was probably the best on the field for Parramatta during that first stage of the game when they managed to rack up all those points. So shout out to him, I suppose, but a bit of a dicky move to the Dragons. And that 7 jersey, bit of a fairy tale finish for the bloke.
I think the 7 was just already written in there regardless of what the result was, but you are right, it was a fairy tale finish. Sean Johnson, they've got the bye this weekend, so he went out there last week and made sure that he showed everybody what he was able to do, and he looked like he was 18 again with some of the moves he was putting on, and set up a couple of good tries out there. And
yeah, it couldn't have been any more of a fairy tale finish either, with the beautiful cutout ball to seal the game to his good mate DWZ there, with the try in the corner. It was rugby league poetry, even for a man who hates the Warriors. I'm sure you would have had a little cheeky smile at that.
It was nice to see. I have to say, we were out there for Osh's birthday, and Cart was watching it on his phone, and I was just every couple of minutes just yelling out "Go the Sharkies" as I was sitting there in my Tigers vest, I left at 4-0 up, and then got into the car and then chucked on SENZ and was listening to it, and I think I heard them make it 18-4 as soon as I turned it on, and I thought, far out, this is crazy. And then to get back and see the ending to the game, it was pretty special to see, even for someone who has such a large dislike of the Warriors like myself. But that's your halves pairing. Taniela Paseka and Whanua Blake there as your propping partners this week. We've managed to get that double barrel in there again.
Yep, standard. Whanua Blake back to standard. One of his standard performances, really. Great for the Wars, and
also his last game for the Warriors.
Yep. Obviously not as big of an occasion, but plenty of Warriors fans will be shedding a tear for that.
I wonder how many players have played their last game for a team against their new team.
Interesting.
Because I can't imagine there'd be too many.
And or against their old team.
What, played their first game for their new team?
Or their last game against their old team.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Johnson did.
Yeah. I wonder if that has happened before. That is an unusual one there. You have to look into that.
Nice contribution from Ace there.
Paseka as your other prop there. Wishart slotting in there between them in that hooking role.
Yeah, definitely becoming one of the most valuable utilities there is. Tyron Wishart there slotting in to that hooking role and having a blinder, even though Melbourne weren't able to get the win in the end. He's popped up everywhere really in his short career so far.
Yep, he's a handy player to have on the books there in Melbourne, that's for sure. Lucas is one of your second rows and joined by I guess most weeks a bit of a shoe-in, Ola Kawatu.
Yeah, probably going for second row of the year there. TGIF second row of the year at least.
TGIF second row of the year, and probably second row of the year as well, I'd say.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding season. Obviously got his Origin debut, and he's killing it at the moment. So should Manly get a little bit of a miracle and Tommy Turbo comes back, they've got a team that could be a little bit of a dark horse. Although it's all contingent on
that's the big worry.
Whether Tommy comes back and whether he's firing again, because it took him a couple of games this time around. Obviously, it was a bit more of a major injury, but. And then Isaiah Yeo rounds out the team at lock. Solid team as always. But with no further ado, we get into
game of the year.
The last regular season game of the year. Not game of the year, round of the year. And couldn't have scripted it probably any worse for supporters of these two teams.
We'll take basically a grand final here. It's a spoon bowl, but we'll take it. The Tigers and a sold out Campbelltown up against the Eels. Spoon bowl, as it's being labelled here. Now, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the name that's being thrown around there, but it needs to be given something with a game that's of this stature. Yeah, I guess is the word I'm after there. Obviously, the Eels coming in after last weekend, putting on a bit of a attacking masterclass there to start off with, and then a huge example in how not to defend. It'll sit down here, and conceding 40 points inside the space of, what did we say, from the 69th minute, 11 minutes?
12 minutes, 28 points, so 11 minutes, 28 points, something like that. Kind of hard for me to really comment on Para in this one. Obviously the Dragons were pretty putrid, but Parramatta were also pretty good. But also in saying that, hard to tell what they will carry into this one in terms of confidence, in terms of momentum, because that last 12 minutes out there,
hopefully that's what they come in feeling like, because
exactly.
We're coming in fresh. We obviously had that bye there on the weekend, and we're coming in on the back of 2 wins before that, so
very well rested.
It's been a wee while since I've experienced a loss, and this is not the time of the year or the type of game you want to be having a loss in. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, time tells that the Eels have sort of been the winner over the last wee while, but my mind springs back to that opening game at Bankwest where we lost. I think it was 50-0. To Power, and so kind of ever since then I have bad feelings when we come up against them, but they're 16th there for a reason. What, 17th? No, they're 16th.
They're 16th after
beating you. So they're down at the bottom of the table for a reason. So there's no reason why we can't go out there and give it a good crack.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I said this last week. I mean, Parramatta, they haven't had the easiest of last sort of 5 to 6 games, but they ran Penrith close. They beat the Warriors over here, which obviously this year has happened a bit more regularly than Warriors fans would have liked, but it's no mean feat, especially for a team coming 16th. It's hard for me to get a read on Para. They've certainly come up against some tougher opposition, but they have lost more than they've won. So overall, they might not be feeling the most confident. Whereas the Tigers coming off 2 on the trot, going for 3 in a row for the first time in a couple of years as well.
It's been a wee while since we've won.
Some big news today as well, the signing of Royce Hunt. Obviously won't get him for this one, but for the next NRL game he'll be
coming in there next year alongside
he'll be in
Luai and Taruva. It's I think I'll be as hopeful as I was last year going into that first game that we played up against Canberra. I think I'll be thinking the exact same thing, but it's a positive signing there. Royce Hunt, I think he'll be a really handy acquisition there coming from the Sharkies. So
100%, definitely need some go forward if Jerome Luai is going to be able to do much, but it's certainly a good replacement with Steph heading out. Not in the opposite direction, but down to Melbourne.
Yeah, it is. It's a handy player to have come in and obviously try and fill a little bit of that void that he's going to leave there when he heads off. I think it's a packed out Campbelltown. I think that's a really good sign. It's a
sold out. Yeah. The thing is, very interestingly, undefeated. The Tigers over Parramatta all time at Campbelltown. There's one fixture and 51-26 for the Tigers. That one ended.
Huge one.
Back in 2013, I believe, or sometime around then, I think, when you would have had the likes of Robbie Farah and Benji Marshall doing their thing. But Tigers also picking up that one earlier this year.
We did.
An agency the field goal.
We did beat them earlier in the season, you're right. So I guess, the most recent history is leaning in our favour. And I've had to back the lads, so I'm going for that Tigers 1-12 into Heath Mason to get himself a median. It's coming in at a nice $7.61 there.
Yeah, not bad. I believe it hit last time for you as well, at a nice $13 there. So going back to what you know, I suppose.
Yep.
I'm going Tigers 1-12 as well. I'm going Sivo, who's pretty much automatic, 15 tries in 11 games this year, and Lockie Galvin, the young star of the Tigers, to seal the deal, $17.77.
Yeah, I like the look of that one there. 3 sevens. It's going to be lucky there. Leads us into that first game of Saturday. Next up, it's the Dragons up against the Raiders. Obviously, plenty of different permutations that can sort of come from this game and that game there involving the Knights and the Finns. But another game where all you can really do is go out there and get the job done and hope for the best.
Yeah, thanks to the way the draw's fallen, we will have to go out there and get the job done first, and then hope on a miracle comes Sunday afternoon. We do need a draw between the Knights and the Dolphins there on Sunday afternoon. But yeah, first of all, we need to get up a Canberra side that have just beaten the Sharks 14 points to 12.
Yeah, probably the
biggest
shock there of the weekend, I'd say, that game there. The Raiders taking the win, keeping their slim hopes alive. And obviously we know what happened with the Dragons there. The most points scored from a losing team, I believe.
Yeah, most points scored for a losing team, beating the previous record by 4. There was a couple of teams, I believe 3 or 4 actually. Most recently Melbourne over Gold Coast, or vice versa, I think. It was like 38-36.
I can remember that game, yeah.
Yeah, it was a nuts game, but 44-40 is, something you didn't think you'd ever see, but unfortunately for Dragons fans, it did take us 69 minutes to wake up. But then all of a sudden after that, it was great, The first 1 or 2 was kind of like, sweet as, whatever, you're still 20 odd points down, and then all of a sudden you score 3 or 4, and you're thinking, fuck me, if there's 5 minutes left here, if we can score 2 tries, we can take this thing a golden point. But unfortunately we got the 5th but not the 6th. Just not enough time there, only 4 seconds left on the clock for the restart, but not to be, but probably didn't deserve anything off the back of conceding 44 as well.
It's obviously it's a pretty
if we would have
tough
been
ask.
talking about a team scoring 44 points and losing, that would have been
I was going to say it's a pretty tough ask to
smashing that
go out
record
there
by 8
and
points.
get a win against a team that scored 44 when it's never happened before. So it was a bit of a shock to see, but I was a little bit worried at the start seeing how much the Eels were dominating, but to see them go out there and absolutely capitulate at the end there, it is good signs for us for this weekend. But you're definitely going to have your work cut out for you in this one, but also like we said, it's a tough ask when you're going out there and needing a draw in the other fixture.
Yeah, definitely clutching at straws with that one a bit, but I suppose as Flano said, no one really to blame but ourselves in this one. In the pole position after that win over the Titans a couple of weeks ago, but couple of shocking performances really against Sharkies and Parramatta outfits without their star number 7. So it's disappointing, but I guess I definitely end of the round, if we do get the win and we come in 9th. Miss out on the finals on points difference. Like
it's not the worst position to be in.
In hindsight, it's not so bad considering most people would have been tipping us for the spoon at the start of the season.
Yeah, you were definitely there.
If not spoon, bottom 4.
Bottom 4, I think I had you.
I heard a lot of people tipping the Drags for the spoon, which to be fair, you look at our team and Zach Lomax's career best season kind of came out of nowhere, and Jaden Sewer returned to some Origin level form. But last couple of years it was no one really apart from Ben Hunt doing his thing. So it's good to see for the Dragons a little bit of hope out of nowhere in the middle of the season, and then unfortunately falls away. Realistically, probably just a week earlier than it would have done. I wouldn't see us going and getting a win over.
It would have been a tough ask.
Over Canberra or Manly, whoever it ended up being in 5th there. It's disappointing to miss out. Living in hope, I suppose, for Sunday afternoon there, but hoping to at least finish the season in style with a win over Canberra. Yeah, historically always been a bit of a bogey fixture for the Dragons. 24-13 all time. I feel like it's gotten a little bit better over recent years, but even through all our strong years we used to lose to them, so I don't know.
They were my pick for the spoon at the start of the year, so they really shocked me, I think, with how their season's gone about. They obviously had that really solid start, and then
they've looked a lot better with Jamal Fogarty back. I'll say that.
That was obviously back.
That was their rough patch of the season, actually. Yeah.
Having him out really hurt them. So you're right. They have looked good with him back, but tough gig, I think, this one regardless. But as we've said a few times there, all you can do is go out there and get a win and hope for the best. Yeah,
100%. As always, it's the Dragons 13 plus. $3.10 this week, obviously with the home ground advantage. Not coming in too hot, but hoping to, I guess, finish the season with a bit of a bang,
Yeah, exactly. And then if you chuck on a little bit on Bird and Strange to score as well, it's going to get you a little bonus of $13.95.
Not too bad.
That, I guess, leads us into a little bit of round ball. Unfortunately, not coming away with that 3 points, not making it 3 2-0 wins in a row. Sharing the points there with Brighton on the weekend. I guess the only positive thing to come out of this game was that it was an 11:30 p.m. kickoff. I think that was probably my favourite thing about it, was the fact that I could just get straight into it there on Saturday night.
It was good. Disappointing to drop points, as you said. Can't have too many more of those if we want to stop City from that 5 in a row. Liverpool also look like they're starting the season strong at least, so when they're not there and in amongst that title race again later on in the year, it's looking likely at this stage. So what can you say, really? A nice goal from Havertz, but apart from that, we didn't really get up to too much.
We didn't offer too much going forward, really.
It was a weird first half. Arsenal didn't seem to really get out of second gear, and Brighton didn't seem to really get out of first gear.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think they really did get out of first gear in that first half. Neither team really played too flash, and especially, it was second versus third going. Brighton just coming off a win there against United, and you probably had higher expectations of how they were going to play too, but not really the best of games. But once we sort of got into that second half, it all sort of turned to shit for the Arsenal.
What was it, about the 55th?
Something like that.
There. A little bit of a moment Down in the far left-hand corner, or right-hand corner if you're of Brighton orientation, I suppose. Dickie Rice, a little bit of a cheeky nudge, I suppose you'd say.
Yeah, just a little.
Can't really call it a kick.
He barely touched it. Yeah.
Definitely didn't boot it in the fashion that Pedro did in the first half, and somehow managed to avoid a yellow card. But it's a disappointing one. Maybe gone are the days where the ref might think, I'm just going to keep my card in the pocket for the sake of the game here.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to do everything by the letter of the law. Just kind of gets a little bit frustrating as a football fan. We've had all this drama with the VAR. To get the on-field refs involved, it's pretty disappointing, but I suppose when you do look at it from the ref's point of view, he has technically kicked the ball away, and it is a little bit silly from Declan there. He has, I guess, given the ref the opportunity to pull out that second yellow card, and when you're £100 million man on a couple of $100,000 a week, it's probably expected of you that you stay away from those sorts of moments. But yeah, it's also very harsh.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough one, but it is by the book, so it did have to go down as a red card, and unfortunately, couldn't help us. Obviously, they're trying to go out there and take that 3 points. Coming away with a draw there, and still unbeaten, 7 points after 3 games. It's not the worst position.
It's not the end of the world. Liverpool and City have some points to be dropped. It's just whether or not we can claw them back sooner rather than later. It'd be nice, but yeah, as I said, as long as we don't drop too many more of those, we should be sweet. I'm sure we'll learn from it. We won't let anything that the ref can pull out a card for happen again, like that little nudge from Dickie. We've got an international break on the next couple of weeks, but a juicy fixture to come after the old North London derby.
Big game up against Tottenham, but we are rolling into that one of the worst periods of the year. You get back into the Premier League action, and you get the old international break thrown upon you, so it's not...
As Pep says, the season really starts after that first international break, and then you get the good run of fixtures through to I believe about November there. I think it is the next international.
It's a bit of a rough stretch here this next week and a bit. But yeah, we're at least following on from that, we can sink our teeth into a little bit of North London derby action, which is always good to get involved with. But there was a little bit of action on over the weekend in the darting world. They were in Hildesheim there in Germany for the German Darts Open, and it was Snakebites weekend. Taking the win, I believe, in the quarterfinals there up against MVG, really set the scene. His first match there on the Sunday, taking that win and going on and taking the trophy in the end there, beating young Luke Littler in the final 6-3, 7-3, I believe it was, the final score there, but playing some really good darts, and Littler averaging 107 and unable to take the win, so it shows you that Peter Wright seeming to be back to a little bit of his old form. I don't want to say his best, but sort of back to that Peter Wright that we know of. Now, I want to say World Series of Darts finals this weekend. I may be wrong, and it may be starting midweek, but I do think that is the next big tournament, and we do see hopes involved in that there. Up against Humphreys, I think the draw was, so it's a tough ask there for him. And you're wanting to load for us. What if we go?
You might have to jam on your phone.
Yeah,
well, that people been fucking out of it lately.
We'll have a little look here. I want to say
it's... I suppose it hasn't died on us already. It needs to normally be plugged in all the time.
Oh, there we go. MVG to open title defence on Blockbuster opening night. There we go. It is your next tournament. Am I correct in saying it must be Saturday morning? We are. How good. And I hope I'm up against Luke there. You're probably looking at maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, somewhere around then, New Zealand time, Saturday morning. So it'll be the upset of all upsets. Hope's taking out Humphreys.
Is he still number one?
Still number one. So
that's a pretty cool thing, though. You've played a dude that's played the number one darts player in the world.
I have, and I've played him dressed up as Santa, which is quite cool. But then I've also got a league against someone who's been to a World Cup and played with this fella here as well, in terms of Ben Robb. So I guess that's the nice thing about playing a niche sport like that, is that you can get out there and you can play the best of the best. It probably wraps us up for another week, though. This barky fella here needs to get to bed. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in, putting up with those barks. Remember to give us a like, a 5-star, get involved on all your socials. Enjoy your week ahead, enjoy whatever sport you're getting yourself involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan to me. See you then. Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now world test champions.